Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the story of Three Bright Young Men by Sudha Murty. At one time, she had gone as a chief guest to a function. The function was held in a hostel which was for poor students built by philanthropists. Philanthropists means people who donate for the poor people. And what is very special here is food was given free, shelter was free. But the students have to bear all the expenses like tuitions and clothing and all that only on their own. And she says during her younger days, she has seen many families taking care of the students who are coming economically background families. But they'll be very intelligent in their studies. And therefore what they will do is they'll help them with their fees, clothing, or sometimes they'll even make them to stay in their house and take care of their food also. Because in those days all colleges were there only in larger towns. So when these poor students are coming from small towns, they will come and stay with these families, and in fact they'll be treated as one of the member in the family. The women in the house will always consider this good deed is something which is very good for their own people and for their like they will feel that God will bless them if they do this good deed, and therefore they took care of these poor students wholeheartedly and they really treated them as a family member. But now even in small towns we have schools and colleges, so this custom of going and staying in another town in a relative's house who are well off and being taken care by them has disappeared most probably now. Now she was sitting in the dais and she congratulated the person who built the hostel. And she said it was a very good deed and it was helping many students and all that. At that time, the hostel secretary told her that some of the students who were actually rank holders had some problem in paying their fees. And in fact, he mentioned three students who have secured ranks, but they were from such poor family that they did not have money to pay their fees. In fact, they had only 1 year to complete their degree, and if that fees was paid, then they can complete their degree. So she asked what are they studying, and the person said one person is doing his medicine, another is doing his engineering, and the third one is doing his commerce, that is BCom. So she said okay, ask them to come and meet me after the function. And after the function, that is, she says about the function where she was praised so much, and she says that praising all this is another form of corruption because it will easily fool the people. And she also says that this is the reason why in the 12th century in Karnataka, the great revolutionary leader Basveshwara warned in his teachings that praise is like golden gallows. And after the function, she met the three poor students who were referred by the secretary. And these three people were so shy and nervous because they were very young. And almost the story was the same, like the father was doing a very small job, and providing for the basic needs in the family itself was very difficult. They are from a very big family in a village. They had no land or any assets and all this, but they are very good in studies and they want to study and they want to come up in life. That was what was very touching about them, and she felt very sorry for them. And she thought that many parents are struggling so much to give education to their own children. They put them in the best educational institutions, give them tuition, coaching, buy them a lot of plenty of books and all that. But now in front of her, she is seeing these three eager and hard-working students who are struggling even to pay their fees. And she feels that Saraswati, the god of learning, has liked them a lot and has blessed them also. So she says, okay, call me in June, I'll definitely pay your fees. And they did not expect this, and they were so happy that that problem of paying their fees is actually solved. And as she promised, she paid the fees for them and she forgot about it. And after a few years, when she was planning to go abroad. So she wanted to buy a sari for her friend who was living abroad. And she thought, okay, like she has to go to Bombay and then go abroad. So on the way, she stopped the car near a sari shop. Now she was in a hurry because she has to go to the airport on time to catch a flight. And since it was lunchtime, in the shop, many staff were not there and it was very quiet and she was in a hurry. So what happened is, she saw one saree which was on the display and she said, I want another saree same like this. Please pack it fast and give me the bill. At that time, one young gentleman came from the back of the shop. He was very well dressed and charming and so sophisticated. He smiled at her and asked him to come and sit in his office. And she was not able to recollect who was. And Sudha Murty had worked as a professor in the Department of Computer Science in the college, and she thought must be this is one of her students, but she was not able to recollect in which batch she had studied. But anyway, since he had called her to come and sit in the office, she went there, and the office was also very modern and very elegant. And she told him, see, I am in a hurry, I have to go to the airport, so please give my packet fast. And she opened the purse and gave the money for the saree. In fact, she didn't even have the time to sit down because she wanted to leave immediately. But the young man smiled and said, please sit down, ma'am, your packet will be ready in a moment. And she asked him, in which year did I teach you? That time he said, no, ma'am, I'm not your student. Then she was surprised and she asked, then how do you know me? That time he said, a few years ago you came to a student hostel and you were the chief guest. I came and met you along with two of my friends and you only paid my final year BCom fees. Now she was able to recollect who he is because she had seen him as a small young boy who was completing his final year in his college, and now he is grown up, and his way of speaking, his way of communicating with her was entirely different, and she was so happy. And she asked him, what are you doing now? And he said, I am the manager and also partner in the saree shop. And he says, by God's grace, our business is really doing well. And then she asks about his family and she says, I'm married, I'm settled here. And he says, two of my brothers are students and they are living with me. And my two sisters are married. And my parents are also very happy because I am doing well. By then the packet came and it was given to her. And since she was in a hurry, she left the place and he came along with her to the car to say goodbye. And since it was very late, she rushed and she got into the flight. And only after getting into the flight, she wanted to make sure whether the saree was in good condition. So she opened the bag, and what surprised her is she had paid the money and bought only one saree. But inside the packet, there were two sarees. And another thing is, she had paid the money, that money also was inside that packet itself. And there was also a small note. And in that, the person who spoke to her had written, saying that, you paid my fees even without knowing me. And I have wondered why you did it, because I was a stranger. I was not at all related to you. And another thing is, you never expected anything from me. You did it because you wanted to help others. And you never expected anything from me. But this is a small gift from me to you. And you have done a big thing in my life. And because of you, I have changed a lot. And now I have decided that I also should help poor people without any expectations from them. And you have changed my life. And when Sudha Murty read it, her eyes were filled with tears and she was so touched by his words. And she was so happy that she was able to help such a nice person. Then she went to Mumbai and she was waiting for the next flight to go abroad. It is an international flight, but this flight was delayed due to a technical problem. So she thought she'll go and buy some snacks in Santa Cruz market. So she went there. And while she was walking along with her friend in the footpath, she stumbled and fell down. And the foot got swollen and she was worried whether she had fractured a leg. A friend had lived in Mumbai, so she said, I know a doctor who is close by. And she said, of course, the doctor will charge a lot, but he is a very good doctor. So they went to the doctor who was living in Kar. And the clinic was very modern. The receptionist was very smart and professional. And the moment they went and said that they have to meet the doctor, the receptionist asked them whether she has an appointment with the doctor. But Sudha said no, and that she hurt herself and that is why she has come there. So the receptionist asked her to wait and she went and talked to the doctor, and then she sent them inside. And this doctor was a very young and a very confident doctor, and he made her feel at ease, and he smiled at her, and when she was very comfortable, he was examining her leg, and he started a conversation and he told her, ma'am, I have met you before. Now you look actually a little older. And then she asks him, where did you meet me? And he says, I was studying in a student hostel and you came there as a chief guest. I met you along with my two other friends. Now she was very sure who is this doctor, but she wanted to confirm. So she's asking, where are your other friends? And he says, one of my friend is in Bangalore. He's a partner in sari shop, and the other is in US. And he asks her how she was there, how she had come there, and she gives the reason. And by the time he had checked her leg, and he says it's not a fracture, a ligament is torn, and he says it will become all right with medicine. And she was so happy that a person whom she had helped is now a doctor. And another relief is that her leg had not fractured. And while she was about to leave, she asks him, are you married? And he says, yes, sir. My wife is also a doctor and we have settled here. And immediately he called the next patient. And when she came out, she saw the receptionist taking a phone, and she thought maybe it is a doctor and maybe he's telling her not to collect any fees from her. But thing is, Sudha wanted to pay the fees because he has started the clinic only now and he is also married, and she wanted to encourage him, so she opened her purse and before she could pay, the receptionist said it's rupees 300. And she was surprised because she never expected him to charge her so much. So she asked, isn't it too much? But the receptionist said, see, the doctor only told me it is 300. And yours is not an appointment. You have not confirmed your appointment. You just walked in. That is why it's like that. And Sudha did not say anything. She paid the bill and she left. And she thought that she had helped 3 people at the same time. And actually she never expected anything from them in return. But the attitude was very different. One person felt grateful for her help, and he also wanted to help others in the same manner like how she was helping the poor people. But the other person didn't even mention the help which he had received from her. And at the same time, he never felt grateful or obliged to her. He treated how he will treat every other patient who come to him. So she thinks that even if the same situation is there, people will react to it and they will act to it differently according to their own nature. And she thinks that she has not met the third one till date. And the story ends here. Actually, this is one of the stories in her collection, Wise and Otherwise. There are totally 51 short stories in that book. And this is the last story, that is the 51st story in that book. In this, she has mentioned one of the incidents which happened in her life. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.